Hola a todos! I hope this video finds you doing well today. I am coming at you today to discuss the verb tener. And as you may recall, tener means to have. You also can use tener que when one has to do something. And I'll talk more about that in a second. In this case, we conjugate tener in its various forms as tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenés, and tienen. For example, you only need the K when you're saying you have to do something. It's usually followed by an infinitive. So for example, tengo pelo rubio. I have blonde hair. That doesn't require a K because I'm not saying I have to blonde hair. I'm just saying I have blonde hair. And there's no infinitive in this case. Unlike the second sentence here, which says tengo que estudiar. I have to study. In that case, the verb tener is used with an infinitive, describing something that one has to do. So tengo pelo rubio and tengo que estudiar. Make sure you have these various forms of tener memorized. Remember, there's always a wonderful website, Conjuguemos, if you need help drilling those in. It's a wonderful way to make sure you know those. But one last time, tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenés, and tienen. Okay, in this next activity, I want to give you a little bit of practice with the verb tener. So you're going to be using tener along with a subject, a school subject, a class, to state at what time someone has class. It also gives you something that this person does in that class. You need to create a full sentence saying what they do. So for example, number one gives us yo, which means I, historia, history class, 9:15. And tomar apuntes, which is to take notes. So you're trying to say I have history at 9:15 and I have to take notes. So remember, tener by itself is to have, tener que is to have to do something. So in this case, in number one, I've said that yo tengo la clase de historia. I have history class. I use the verb tengo because it went with yo in this case. Yo tengo la clase de historia a las 9:15 at 9:15. And in that class, tengo que estudiar. I have to study. Okay? This gives you an example. Let's do just one more. Number two says, ustedes, matemáticas, 10:30, and estudiar. So we're trying to say that you all, ustedes, you all have math class at 10:30 and that you have to study. So we know that the tener word to go with ustedes in this case would be tienen. So we're going to say, ustedes tienen la clase de matemáticas. You have it at 10:30 a las 10:30. And in that class, you all have to study. Tienen que estudiar. Look at number three. It tells you tú, you, español, Spanish, 1 o'clock, and hablar en español. In this case, we want to say that you have Spanish class at 1 o'clock and that you have to study. We know that the verb tienes goes with tú in this case. So we should say that tú tienes la clase de español a la 1, you have it at 1 o'clock, and tú tienes que hablar en español en esa clase. All right, I want you now to take a moment and pause your audio. Please give numbers 4 and 5 a quick try for me. Okay, now that you've had a second to try, let's take a look. Number 4 says, Eli y yo, inglés, 7:35, and contestar muchas preguntas. So Eli and I, we have English class at 7:35, and in that class we have to answer a lot of questions. So Eli y yo, Eli and I in this case would be we. We know that we in Spanish is nosotros, and the tener word to go with nosotros in this case should be tenemos. So we're going to say that Eli y yo tenemos la clase de inglés a las 8:25. We have English class at 7:35. In that class, we have to take notes. So tenemos que contestar muchas preguntas. In number 5, you're given Jacob, Jacobo, ciencias, 11:10, and usar la computadora. So in this case, we're saying that Jacob has science class at 11:10, and in that class he has to use the computer. So the verb tener, in this case, to go with Jacob or he, él, would be tiene. So we should say that Jacob tiene la clase de ciencias a las 11:10. And in this case, he has to use the computer. Jacob tiene que usar la computadora. I hope this video has been helpful to you for reviewing the verb tener. As always, if you have questions or you need more assistance, feel free to reach out to me. Have a great day, everyone.